Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Win with Heather Havenwood. I am your host, Heather Havenwood, where we focus on entrepreneurship and helping you make more money with your mindset and marketing and sales. All right, great. So I am super excited to have someone on the line today that in video as well. By the way, you don't know where we're located. We're also on Roku. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeart, every place you can think of. We're actually about to be on Amazon as well. So just check us out everywhere, The Win with Heather Havenwood. But today I have someone on the line that has this huge conference in Austin. We've had a chance to connect prior in Austin. So we have a local Austinite, which is always fun. And so this is a really amazing story that I ask you to turn it up, turn on the volume, and just really listen to her story. Michelle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for being here. So I'm going to introduce you to Michelle Norris. I'm going to give you the bio, but I really want to then kind of explain to you who she really is in the world. And Michelle Norris is the co-founder and CEO of PaleoFX, the largest paleo event in the world. She's a passionate speaker, motivator, and now a guiding light for modern women who want to learn how to thrive and experience true self-empowerment in body, mind, and spirit. Having survived the death of her 22-year-old daughter, Michelle knows what it's like to fight back from overwhelming loss. Instead of losing herself completely in devastating grief, she used tragedy as a catalyst for her to leave fear behind once and for all and to pursue everything that she's ever wanted. Now, what was your daughter's name?
Britney.
Or is your daughter's name Britney?
Yes.
Got it. So I just wanted to really get who you are in the world. So PaleoFX is extremely large and it's a huge event. We're going to get into that. And it's actually here in Austin. So you're not only an Austinite, but you bring that amazing event here to Austin to not only the Austinites, but everyone in the world. But I just think you're just a badass, powerful badass in the world. And I just am super excited to interview you and hopefully get to know you and connect with you more in the future. So, tell us a little bit first, right? Let's just go first with about PaleoFX, the event.
So PaleoFX is a 3-day really immersion into the paleo lifestyle. So a lot of people believe that PaleoFX is a diet conference. The diet is just a teeny small piece of the entire paleo lifestyle and what it all encompasses. So we have everything, every kind of talk that you can imagine at PaleoFX, anywhere from obviously nutrition, food, diet, fitness, but we go into sustainability, mindset, entrepreneurism, spirituality, plant medicines. So we run the entire gamut of all of those things. So we have talks, panels. We are best known for our panels, for workshops, demonstrations. It is a 3-day paleo party.
Paleo party. Awesome. And I think, first of all, that's really interesting. People think it's a diet conference and it's not. From what I understand, and just to be full disclosure, I will be there coming up in April. I have not been before. I live about 2 miles from the area you actually do it in, the Long Center. And I always think, why did I not go? But it really is a way of life. I think, I'm a bodybuilder, as you know, and I've been doing that for a while. But just like bodybuilding, just like anything, it's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not like I'm like on a bodybuilding diet. It's just kind of like who I am, kind of like yogis, like who they are is yogis.
Yes.
Right. So would you say it's the same thing? Paleo lifestyle, the same thing?
Absolutely. It's really about the lifestyle. It's about making change, because this is the thing. Diets, by and large, fail because what you're doing is changing a pattern of eating for a short amount of time, getting a result that you want, and then you return back to what wasn't working before and what was making you fat and sick and unhealthy previously. So diets don't work. So you have to have a full lifestyle change. And so as far as we're concerned, paleo lifestyle is not just about removing the toxins from your food, because there's a lot of toxins in our food. And quite frankly, we need to be very mindful and be very diligent about watching for those type of things and making sure that we don't have those lots of inflammatory ingredients in our foods and everything. So it's about removing the toxins from our food, but it's also about removing the toxins from the products that we put on our body. Our skin is the largest organ that we have, and yet we bombard it with all kinds of chemicals, particularly ladies. When we put on makeup, we can have anywhere from 68 to 82 different toxic ingredients in our makeup. So it's removing those toxins. It's removing the toxins in our home and where we take care when we're cleaning, that we want to get those chemicals out because the chemicals are very toxic. I know everybody thinks, oh, I can't clean if I don't have bleach. Well, there's a lot of things that you can clean much better than bleach actually and aren't toxic. So there's that. Then there's the toxic thoughts. So we want to get rid of the toxic thoughts because those keep us from being happy and fulfilled and having a vibrant life. And so then the other piece of this is toxic people. And so a lot of people don't really think about that, but you need to really concern yourself with who you're surrounded by. And the thing is that there's toxic people in my family. I choose not to have relationships with those people. I love them. They are my family and I love them, but I love them from afar because they just don't serve what I want to do in my life. And when you surround yourself with people who are doers and have a upbeat and positive mindset, you're going to be upbeat and more happy and have a more positive mindset as well. So that's really what it's all about, is trying to make sure that we hit all the pillars of health and make sure that everything is covered. So we cover everything from health, physical health, financial health, spiritual health, relational health, and fitness, physical health. So just want to make sure that we've got all of those things covered.
So first of all, let's talk about toxic people. I completely agree. I'm personally right now going through a huge process and cleaning out process. What's interesting is I did that the KonMari way through my entire house about 6 months ago. And now I'm doing the exact same thing in my life with my people in my life. Right. And so if y'all don't know what that is, you might not subscribe to, I think, love it. She would say, go through your whole house, one home at a time or one like area at a time, and pick up everything as it does this. Bring me joy, right? Now imagine if you did that with all of your people in your life. Does this person bring me joy? No.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah.
I literally have blocked more people on my cell phone in the last week than I have ever. I was just actually about to Google tonight if there's like a max.
Oh yeah, that you can block. Huh.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like block. And I actually block a lot of people on Facebook too. And people go, I can't believe you do that. I'm like, it's not about they're bad or wrong. And I don't usually do something like F off, you're out of here. It's more like release. It's just a release, it's like taking something to the Goodwill and say, thank you for being in my life at the time that you did blanket and I'm done. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Anyway, I just kind of want to put my little 2 cents on the toxic.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. And yeah, I have been doing the KonMari thing as well for quite a while. It's funny because, let's see, somebody mentioned the book to me. Then another person mentioned the book to me, and then somebody gave me the book, like within a 2.5 week span. And I was like, okay, apparently I need to do this.
The universe was like, will you please listen? Here's the book. Just do it. Okay. Yeah. I completely agree with that. So I just kind of want to dive now into, first off, thank you for that. And first, I want to tell everybody, if you're interested in going, which you shouldn't be even interested, you should just go. I'd love to see you there. I'm going to be walking around. It's April 27th, 28th, and 29th. 2018 coming up. And you can go to heatherhavenwood.com/PaleoFX. And I'll spell that for you. PaleoFX, and you do get a discount on tickets there. So please go check that out. It's heatherhavenwood.com/PaleoFX. If you're listening to this after April, please go there anyway, because there's going to be another event. They have communities, they have online communities, they have other things other than just the event. So please go there and check that out as well. All right. So I want to dive into your personal story. And as a woman, as an entrepreneur and the CEO of PaleoFX, let's start with, how did this all get started? Why this event? Why now? What sparked that?
Well, let's see. So I don't know if your listeners are familiar with the Ancestral Health Symposium, but it is kind of a sister conference to us. It is decidedly academic. And so there's a lot of abstracts and science that are presented at that event. PaleoFX is decidedly not academic. We are very much a hands-on, where the rubber meets the road, theory to practice type of thing. And so my husband and I went to the inaugural event in 2011. And when we were on the runway of LAX flying back home, we were talking about how cool it was, that it was a great conference, all that stuff. But we were like, at the end of the day, though, our clients, we own gyms. And so our clients just want to know, what do I put in my mouth and when do I do that? And what do I pick up? What do I lift weights? Do I run? Do I jog? Do I do cardio? Do I whatever? And when do I do that? At the end of the day, they are happy that the science exists, but they don't really care about the science. They want to know how to do it. It's kind of like when you ask somebody for the time and they tell you how to build a clock. Not interested. I just want to know what the time is. So you realized that there was a need there. And so, and I'll take this back a little bit. So our daughter, Britney, who was killed almost 9 years ago, was killed in a car accident 3 days before her 23rd birthday and a week before her college graduation. And she was a worship and music ministry major. And she was a beautiful, gifted musician and singer. And when we went to her first memorial service that was actually held on what would have been her 23rd birthday, we were blown away. There were over 700 people at this event, at her memorial. And we stood there and received, I think almost everybody there, but they were telling us how she changed their life. And it wasn't this, topical, type of thing, like just something you say, oh, she changed my life. They would tell us what she did to change their life. And we were just stunned. I mean, we knew she was amazing and she was this great kid and she was such a good person and had such a great heart. She was going to be a minister and she planned to work in the mission field. Well, we started thinking, we can't just let her legacy die with her. We have to figure out how to carry this on. And we really didn't know how that was going to work out. We just knew her gifts were music and worship and ministry and prophecy and all of that stuff. And like I said, beautiful, gifted musician and singer. Those were not our gifts. So we had to start thinking, okay, well, what we need to do is operate in the gifts that we have. Ours was food and fitness, and nutrition and health and wellness. And so we started operating in those gifts, trying to figure out what we were going to do. Well, when the opportunity came along for PaleoFX, when we saw this need, we decided to fill it. We were like, okay, this is going to be Britney's legacy. This is how we're going to change lives, is that we're going to create this conference for people that really need this information and need to know how to change their lives. And so we came back from that event in August. We decided by October we were going to do PaleoFX, and we launched it on March 14th of 2012, a little less than 6 months later. And it happened to be my husband and I's also our wedding anniversary. So we launched it on that day, and it's been a crazy ride ever since.
I bet. And it's gotten bigger and bigger every single year. I lived in downtown Austin for 6 years, so I've seen it grow. Yeah. So it's gotten huge. And so this coming up April, again, that's April 27th, 28th, 29th, 2018 here in Austin, Texas. Highly suggest you come and fly for it. HeatherHavenwood.com/PaleoFX. How many people are you expecting on this one?
We are expecting 7,500 plus.
Wow. Okay. And just to give us a context, right? How many was the first one?
600.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge, I don't even know what the growth that is, like 5,000%.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
We doubled in size every year, and until 2015, then we tripled in size. And yeah, it's been like I said, crazy ride.
And so what do you, looking back, it's only been, a couple of years, but what do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned so far from this growth?
I honestly believe when you have an idea or you see a need or you see something that needs to be changed, you just need to jump in and do it. The thing is that I've come to the realization, of course, after you lose a child, there's just not anything that you can fear beyond that. It's just not, there's nothing. we're all expecting to lose our parents. Not something we enjoy, obviously, but we're expecting to lose our parents. We're expecting to, at some point, we lose a spouse, or we lose a sister or a brother or an aunt, or, your grandparents.
Yeah.
You're expecting all of that. But when you lose a child, that's like the worst fear ever. And when you live through it, there's not any fear on the other side of it. So I just realized how much fear is kind of an illusion, and it keeps us from actually doing the things that we were put here to do. That was our purpose, and that is our, mission here in life, and to help change the world and change people's lives. And so, that's probably one of the biggest lessons, is that when you see a need that needs to be filled, because this is one of the things that we do as humans, we notice the things that need to be changed, and we're like, oh, that really needs to change. Oh, that's really got to change. That really needs to change. But then we sit back and we wait for somebody else to change it. When the reality is the acknowledgement, the recognition that there is something that needs to be changed is the first step in being able to change it. And if you're the one that recognizes it and you're the one that sees it, then why aren't you doing something to change it? If you noticed it, and it's something that I think what we feel is we're not powerful enough, and who are we to do anything like that? And why would why would I think that I have the ability to do that? Well, we have a lot more power than we give ourselves credit for.
Well, you're speaking to me personally on that, and I've only mentioned it once so far in the show, but I'll mention it again. And that is, I had something that happened about 3 weeks ago, and I'm sitting in this room at 7 o'clock in the morning in California with my sister, and I'm kind of complaining about this stuff. I'm just sitting there eating my eggs and my coffee, complaining, like, and I walked out and I said, why am I complaining? Just do something about it. Now, I haven't figured out how to do that with the dream of it, like the big picture. I knew what it is. I'm just not sure how to fulfill it yet, which is I want to create the largest and the most successful female-centric mastermind of entrepreneurs in the world.
Yeah.
Empowering women. And I was sitting in a room, a breakfast of all men who were selling other men on why they should be in their mastermind, like a $30,000, year mastermind. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
So, and their sales pitch was, you'll be one of the bros. And when you're one of the bros, we take care of our bros. I'm like, what the is this shit? Am I eating my eggs? Do people like believe this crap? You know what I mean? So, and people signed up, like 60 people signed up, do the numbers, right? So I just was like blown away. And I thought, why am I complaining? We need a sister club, because they're right. They do take care of each other.
The hose.
We need like the hose, sister hose, like, right? Like, sister, I got you.
Right. Don't join the bros, join the hose.
Join the hose, bitches, let's go. So, I was like, sitting there, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning eating my eggs. And my sister dragged me down there, and I was like, she's like, it's free breakfast. I'm like, let's go. So, so I have to listen to their pitch for free, and I get free eggs and coffee, because I was that lazy, because it was a great buffet. But I just, and I'm sitting going, why am I complaining? Just let's do this.
Yeah.
And I looked around, what is the most successful female-centric mastermind in the world? There isn't one.
No.
And women are inherently solo, meaning if they just drive, they get things done. They're not necessarily always, believe it or not, people think they're very community oriented. They are, but they're not. Men actually, I think, are way more bro, like, I'll help you out, dude, just call me, whatever you need. It's hard for women just to call people and go, hey, I need your help, Linda, or whatever, because we feel like we don't want to intrude on their life. They got their own life going on, So I think that owning that would be crazy. Yeah. I have no idea how to do that. So you're talking to me, sister. I'm like, let's do this. Anyway, so all right, let's move into that. So here you are, you built it out, and I think it's really powerful that you opened it on your wedding anniversary with you and your husband. And I just want to honor Britney here for a second too, of who she is and who she is in the world. Her spirit still exists, and what she's providing for thousands of people. And I think that spreads across the world. When people change their health, they change their life, and it impacts their family. It only takes one person to really impact an entire family unit, especially with health and well-being. So I think it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, it was that we felt like it was one of the best ways we could honor her.
Do you do anything during the event to honor her anyways, or a charity or anything? I'm just curious.
No, actually we at some point intend to, it's just like, when can you do it anyway?
Yeah. Not trying to put pressure on you. I was just curious. I wanted to honor.
No. It's like, we actually want to start a foundation in Britney's name. We want to do a foundation where we actually help food ministries or food kitchens feed our poor better. Because if you go to a food kitchen, you will walk in and it's pretty disgusting what we feed them. And we're talking about our poorest, the ones that are the most needy. And what we do is we give them this crappy food. We make them ill and sick from this food, because face it, food is either poison or it's medicine. It's one of the two. There's no in between. And so when you look at the foods that we feed our poorest and the people who are the most dependent upon us, you see that we feed them poison. And then on the backside of that, we get to take care of them when they get sick and need help, or they have diabetes or heart disease or high cholesterol or what have you, and cancer, you name it. We ended up footing the bill for that. So we're double dosing ourselves on this, and it makes no sense. It's like, why would we want to do that to these people that are so dependent? And so I want eventually to be able to start this foundation in her name, and that's my plan.
Awesome. Okay, no pressure. Just don't want to add more to your life, but that's awesome. I love that. Thank you. So let's go into being a woman in today's world, to be the CEO of this, and your experiences. I know that you were already doing your own thing, you and your husband, but you really put yourself in the spotlight. I think at this one at a different level. So I just really wanted to ask you your experience with that, and if you have any kind of things that you learned from that process, things you're still learning, and maybe you want to share.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think I'm going to always be learning. I don't think there's going to be, I think the minute I stop learning is the minute they might as well put me in the ground. But I honestly have realized, particularly over the last few years, that women in a place of leadership operate from a masculine position. And when we do that, it's not authentic to who we are. So it's that age-old story of, well, if a man did that, he'd be called assertive, but when I do it, I'm called a bitch.
Right.
Yeah. The problem is that we are not men. And when we assume we are working in a man's world and we're trying to operate in this man's world, in what we believe is the way a man would handle something, the problem is that doesn't come off authentic. It comes off as bitchy. And what we need to do is learn how to own our feminine power, because let me tell you, ladies, and you should know this, we should all be very aware of this, and especially right now with what's happening with Me Too, with the third wave, all of these things, women are going to come into power in a very, very big way, but we need to come into power the right way, and that is in our feminine, because we're far more powerful than men would ever hope to be. And the problem is that we just don't do that. And it's because we're trying to fit in. Instead of creating the woman's world, we are trying to fit into a man's world. And that's the problem. And so it's something that I've been really working on over the last couple of years. The other piece of this too is that because we come in a position of masculinity, or we try to impose our rule when we are in a place of leadership, we think that's how men work, and men don't really operate that way, but that's the way we see it. And so we come in and we're like iron-fisted, I demand this and I demand that and I demand this. Then yeah, you're coming off looking like a bitch. But the reality is it's about control. And the problem is that most women are thinking they need control so that they can manage what's happening around them. They can manage this man's world. They can manage the people that are working for them. But what I realized a while ago is that I don't want control. I want influence. And there's a big difference between the two. So when you influence, that means people respect you and they want to follow you. They're not being told they have to. And so when you are demanding it and you are trying to be in control, and this is, ladies, I am not preaching at you. I am with you because I have been there. I've done this, and I have been, I've been licking my wounds and trying to figure out, okay, what did I do wrong? And the thing is that I was like, it's going to be my way. I'm the CEO. I'm in charge. It's this way. And just trying to rule with an iron fist and be in control, when I realized I don't really want control. I just want the influence. And so I think when women start really operating from a place of feminine and it's a quiet strength, and it's a confident strength, and it's coming in with the vision or the mission and what have you, and laying it out so people understand it and they follow, and they have resonance with it, and they want to follow, and they want to carry out your vision and your mission. The problem is if you come in and you're like, this is the way it is and it's the way it's going to be, nobody wants to follow that. Everybody wants to feel like they play a part and that they have a role in carrying out something that's greater and bigger than themselves. And so when you give them the opportunity to take ownership and to have some leadership and have some say and some autonomy in what they're doing, and in bringing forth something that's bigger than themselves, something that you envisioned, you're going to have influence. You're going to have power that will blow away control any day of the week. So,
wow, that's awesome. I'm just thinking about when you're talking, I'm listening to you, and there's a new song by Pink, and there's a line in there. It makes me chill every time I think about it. She says, "I don't want control. I want to be able to let go."
Oh yeah.
And it's a beautiful moment, because I think the reason, in my experience with women who, again, feel they need to be in control, it's out of fear. It's out of feeling, well, that's what they think men do. It's also out of fear. If I let go of control, then things are going to break down. But it's in that statement, like you said, influence. Pink is say just a little differently, be able to literally let go. When you let go, it's actually in that moment where you can actually let the vision happen and things actually begin to move and flow, and just release it and stand with your vision of what PaleoFX is, what the vision is of what you're creating, and look at what you've done. You're like the container versus controlling it. If you tried to control the whole process, you wouldn't be able to have 7,500 people plus coming.
No, I would.
No way.
No, there's definitely no way. And I can tell you, there's been many times I've been in my own way. I mean, and that's one of the problems is with control, is you get in your own way because you think you know best about everything. Well, real true leaders that are really, really good, they don't do everything. They make sure that they have people that are better than them at everything else. And so that's one of the things that I realized, because at first it was like, well, if somebody else does this instead of me, then then I don't have control over it. And I feel like sometimes we feel like we're losing a piece of who we are, or some of the credit we have for something. And when in reality, if you release it, you get way more credit, because of the fact that if you let somebody that's better than you do that job, the ascension of what you're doing, the vision, the mission, the business, the whatever it is, when you allow that to grow beyond what you were capable of, you get far more recognition for the fact that it's bigger, better, and badder. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to hold, because when you're trying to control, you're stifling it. You can't, you're choking it off, man. And so that's one of the things that I feel like has been one of the biggest lessons for me, is to let other people do what they do best and me continue to do what I do best. And that's not doing all the little things that's just ridiculous. It doesn't even make any sense for me.
It reminds me of how, looking at how parents, moms who are controlling moms versus moms that like kind of like let their kids, they watch their kids, of course, right? But they allow their kids to stumble and fall and kick their, and my mom was that way. She kind of, something she didn't care. And she just, our strings were long, you know what I mean? And it was because I'll never forget it. She had this deal with us. Like since when I was, we had a deal, me and my sister. She's like, here's the deal. Your freshman year in high school, like you got a curfew at 10, right? Or something like that. And then your curfew, and if you're a good little girl, and then in sophomore, it's like, 11. All right. That's a deal. And then when you're a junior, it's 12. And if you're good, like in senior year, I don't care. You got no curfew. Do what you want. Like you earn it. Right. And it was like a super, I don't know where she came up with that. I have no clue who told her that, but it was like super smart. So by the time, but here's what would happen. So here it is, senior year. Like I could say it till 4 a.m, right? I'm like, I would come home at 11 because I'm like, I didn't want to hang out with them, or I was bored, or, because like I didn't want to be with that. I didn't want to be with wherever I was at anymore. And I was like, I can go home. But everyone else like, no, we got to stay because I got like 1 more hour of curfew. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just one example of my mom just kind of gave that tether. And I started to make my own choices. I started to be a different person because I was like, yeah, I could stay out till 3, but like I'm tired and I kind of want to stay home and go watch a movie or something. And I started to make my own choices. It's the same kind of thing, I think, when you're in a business situation. Instead of trying to control a person, it's like, hey, well, here's a deal. Like, tell me what you got. Let's rock that. Okay, cool. Let's see how that goes. And if it doesn't work, it's going to fall on you, but that's okay. But then you'll learn, or you'll grow, or you'll whatever, or you'll fix it, or you'll experience that. But my friend and I for being a single mom, me and my sister came out pretty awesome. We didn't drugs or alcohol. We didn't have any of that. We just, we didn't get pregnant when we were 10. We just didn't have any of that. But we had friends, that had these parents that were super freaking strict. They were the ones like getting pregnant at 16 and like having drug issues. And we're over there going, I don't know what you're talking about. So I think it shows a lot of just being a woman and being able to be free. Let your birds fall, let your birds fly, and just allow them to be, and they'll want to come back to the nest and be with you as, and as a leader.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that.
That analogy. But
that's, yeah, it's funny that you talk about that, like with the curfew and having that tether. It's like, a lot of parents, when they get that thing, what they're asking for is either trouble while they're with you, or when they go to college. All bets are off, and they turn into crazy people.
They do.
And right. They don't know how to, this is the problem. They don't know how to, when you go away to college and you've had no freedom and now you have all the freedom in the world, you don't know how to manage it. So yeah, I totally hear you.
And then they work in a workplace, and then they work for someone like yourself, and they're not dealing with responsibility. So I think I just love how you described it. Is like you're being a woman and you're holding the container for your team, and you're holding the vision for the customers and the people coming. And like, there's this container space. It literally is like, I always think the women who are stay-at-home moms with kids, they are CEOs, or they're CEOs. I mean, like they're managing a lot. Okay. So they're like holding the container for the family, of all these people's, whatever. There's just a lot going on in a family, and they're holding the container in doing a lot of things. And it's like that you always see it the most when like something happens to the woman, like if they get sick or they leave, or I don't know, whatever, like the whole family construct like just crumbles.
Yeah.
And they didn't really realize how much she was this anchor, and she was like holding the space. And I think it's really important you talking about that, because if you can visualize that, how powerful that is, and how much we are innate to do that, and how men just, it's not in their nature to do that. And so I just watched, I wish I had the numbers off the top of my head, but I'm going to just totally just kill these numbers. But there was a video I watched this weekend on Wall Street Journal. It was talking about the percentage of women who are CEOs in the Fortune 500, extremely low, by the way.
Yes, it is.
But however, they looked at, which I found fascinating, they looked at the differences of the year-over-year growth between the women CEOs and the men CEOs, and it was fascinating because the women CEOs have grown their companies at a higher percentage rate every year that they were there versus the men on average. And I was like, of course, because women know how to nurture and hold the space to be able to let people grow beyond them.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that fascinating. So
yeah, no, I actually saw that not that long
Oh, you did?
ago. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. The numbers are really low.
Yeah, they're extremely low for the percentage of, but I found it awesome that we beat the big boys in some levels.
And we're graduating more women from college than men now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I just didn't know that stat.
Yeah, it is. I want to say, I think it was like a 60% to 30 something percent difference
Wow.
in male to female graduates.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. And I just love that. And in my book, A Sexy Boss, I talk about that, the empowerment of women is changing the rule book for everything.
Yeah.
It is the women who we are ruling, so I think it's a new space. So let's talk about future for you. Mm-hmm. Here we are, 2018. Again, I want you guys go check out and please show up because I will be there. You can come hang out with me April 27th, 28th, 29th, heatherhavenwood.com/PaleoFX, PaleoFX. Go check it out. You get discount on tickets. So let's talk about your future 5 years from now, PaleoFX. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see the event? Do you see yourself hanging out and maybe pulling back a little bit? What are you seeing? What's your vision?
So I see that we'll probably be doing events all over the world by that point. We have been working towards that for the last couple of years. We definitely want to put on this event in other countries. And so we have people that travel to Austin from all over the world to come to this event.
Yeah.
And we'd love to see a lot more Austinites, I'm just going to say. So if you're an Austinite, we'd love to see.
Yeah, it is interesting. We are spoiled here.
Yeah.
We're spoiled here. It's hard to get people out for South by Southwest, and people literally fly from all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's in our backyard. We're like, we're going,
we're leaving town.
We're leaving town. We'll get some tacos. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is actually the first year that we didn't head out. We actually spoke at South by this year. So
oh, cool.
And they had the very first year of the Health and Wellness Expo. So we were really excited about that. We've been asking them to do that for a while, but yeah, so I see us being all over the world. However, I'm going to be launching my new project in a little bit, probably a little bit after PaleoFX, probably summer, you'll see it. But we're starting to put things together so you can follow. And I've got a Facebook group, and it's Zero Gravity Soul. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of social media and everything. We do a lot of stuff around women's empowerment, mindset, really a lot of entrepreneurship. And I will eventually be offering an online course for women that are, particularly women that are disenfranchised, that have, found themselves, in the empty nest syndrome, where they identified as mom, wife, soccer mom, PTA president, what have you. And now they don't feel like they have an identity or a purpose. The reason being is that I was there. There was a point even before my kids were actually out of the house where I started thinking, well, when my kids go, like, what's my purpose? There's no purpose for being here in this world if you don't have children. I mean, like, I was really thinking that, which is hilarious and silly and what have you. I shouldn't say it's silly. It's not silly. It's an identity crisis. And so I have an online course to help women find what their purpose is and to carry that purpose out. And that may be a new business. That could be a passion project. It could be anything. But what it is just finding that purpose and helping and supporting them carry that out. And so that'll be launching this summer. But in the meantime, I've got a private Facebook group that's Zero Gravity Soul. We just started it because we wanted to get prepared for the launch of the new website. And anyway, so people can check me out there. But that's where I see things in 5 years, is that I'm hoping to hold not only online events, but women's entrepreneur events as well, from Zero Gravity Soul.
I love it. Zero Gravity Soul. Go check that out. A Facebook group. Is it a closed group or can anyone join?
You know what? I don't know what they did. My team.
Okay. We'll just go check it out.
Go check it out.
We'll find out.
I think you can just join. I don't think it's closed.
Okay. Yeah, this story, I'm sure it is. So also go check out, make sure you, in Austin, if you are listening from April 27th, 28th, 29th, just show up. This is ridiculous. You got to go. It's awesome. PaleoFX. And Austin's such a fitness crazy city. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It's just, I live downtown, so it's everyone's fitness crazy. It is. I just went to Whole Foods, just got some food. Everyone's like that. So go check it out. HeatherHavenwood.com/PaleoFX. I love the fact that you have that vision for all over the world, because one thing about health and nutrition and food, like you said, it's either toxic or medicine. It's either killing you or it's making you healthy. And that's an international conversation. It's international. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. It is an international conversation. And I have, where I live downtown, it's a close-knit little condo community, and I've been here a long time, so everyone's you know everyone. And there's two women here who are just darlings, and they're late 30s, early 40s, I think. And both of them in the last year, one's going through it now, one just completed. They're both going through breast cancer chemo. Double mastectomy. Neither one have had kids. Neither one are married. Neither one have, and it's kind of this daunting thing for me to look at, because I'm, 42, and I'm just over here going, and their condos sandwich me too. So it's super like, what's up in the water? What's that all about? So, but it's scary. It's scary to go, why, or what's going on with them, or what happened, or what caused that, or why them, not me. And so there's just a lot, so, and I'm talking about identity crisis. I can relate to that. I'm not married with kids, and when I meet other women sometimes and they have kids, there's such an identity of that they are their kids, or they're only a mom. Anything else to relate to them on, it's just like nothing there. And that's really frustrating for as a person, as a woman, to have girlfriends, because it's like, if I don't have kids, then there's like no relation. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think, like you talked about, the identity, it's kind of society driven.
Yes.
It's told, I know for me, my mom told me at a very young age, your job is to get married and have babies. Like, that's your job. And I just was like, I didn't know that. Thank you for the insight. It was the first time I ever heard of an MRS degree. I was like, I don't know what that is either, which means just get married. So women are choosing differently now. I know I am, of what their identity is based on choice, not based on what society says we should be. So I just love that you're creating that for people like myself, or people who are empty nesters, and everything in between. I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, and the other piece of that too, the Zero Gravity Soul, is obviously helping women who are entrepreneurs that are struggling with being a female leader in whatever company that they're involved in, or it may be their own company, and that it's hard. I mean, all my business partners were men, and so they didn't understand when I operated in a vulnerable way. And that's another thing that's actually a strength for us. And a lot of people see it as a weakness, and it's not. And that's something that I've come to learn. And it's something that I want to help women with, is that you own your vulnerability. That's part of who you are. That's part of what makes us women. And that's also what makes us better. And I'm not saying women are better than men. I'm just think we're more powerful, and we have a capability beyond what, sometimes what men can do.
Mm-hmm. We do. We have different assets than them. And we are better at certain things. We're multitaskers. We're better at that. I mean, that's just like a fact.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had to learn how to feed a baby and ourselves at the same time.
At the same time, right? And deal with 5,000 things. Yeah, exactly. I laugh. I'll tell you this last story. We'll wrap it up here. Sorry, but I was at a Panera Bread, and I'm sitting there on the computer, and I'm like all focused. And there's a table next to me, and slowly, they're getting their stuff. There's 3 moms and about 5 kids in between them. Like, they're obviously getting together with their kids. And now, meanwhile, I'm focused on the computer, and the kids are just loud. Now, I look over at the moms, and the moms aren't skipping a beat. They don't hear anything. You know what I mean? They're like, da, 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 da. They're looking at the kids. The kids aren't screaming. They're not like upset. You know what I mean? They're not like hurt or upset but they're just like being kids, right? And they're like running around the table and they're getting up and down to get the food. And the moms are just sitting there and they're just like talking to each other. And I go, oh, they have parent ears.
Yeah.
Right. At first I was like angry at them and I'm like, they have parent ears. And if they didn't have parent ears,
yeah,
they couldn't have lunch.
Yeah,
right?
They could not do.
They could not, like, they got to eat. You know what I mean?
Their kid says or does or makes some noise that they are biologically wired to hear. They're gonna react.
Right. Like the kids were happy. They were healthy. They weren't hurt, but they were like, moving around. You know what I mean? So, and they're like, sit down. Okay, nod. Okay, good. Okay, let's talk about what are we doing tomorrow, sweetheart, or whatever. And it was just so funny to watch how these three moms, even though they were talking to each other about whatever, they at the same time were just like dealing with the kids and talking to them, and oh, by the way, that one's running that one and that one's got that one. And okay, they're alive. They're a little loud, but it's all good. So I just was like, they got parent ears. I cannot get mad at them at all. So I just, moved myself somewhere else. So it's all good. But I laughed because I thought that's what happens. Moms become like, there's a particular tone that changes in their brain to hurt kids loud, everything's fine,
No, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
That's a scream. They're fine. No, that's a scream. Something's wrong. Hold on. And there's like this decisiveness in their head, just so innate. So we are better. We are better than that. The men don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't have it. They don't have it. So anyways, I just want to wrap it up and just say thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to tell everybody again where to go check you guys out. April 27th, 28th, and 29th here in Austin, Texas, 2018. It's PaleoFX. You can go to heatherhavenwood.com/PaleoFX. And also go check out your community. Say it one more time for us.
Zero Gravity Soul.
Zero Gravity Soul. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to go check it out myself. So I'll meet you in there, everyone. And this is Heather Havenwood. Any last words, Michelle?
No, just hope to see you in Austin in April. It's a great conference. Actually, I'd like, if you don't mind, tell everybody who we're going to have speaking there.
Oh yeah, go for it. Let's do it.
Amazing. We have an amazing lineup this year. I'm super stoked about who we have. So JJ Virgin, major female entrepreneur. Huge. I'm like have a huge girl crush on her. And so JJ Virgin will be there. Dr. Joseph Mercola, largest health and wellness site in the entire world. He will be there. Dr. David Perlmutter, Grain Brain. These are all New York Times bestselling authors, by the way. Rob Wolf, Mark Sisson, Chris Kresser, Dr. Sarah Ballantyne, Nora Gagautis, Ben Greenfield. We have Dennis McKenna, who will be here. He's Terrence McKenna's brother. Amazing dude, just so excited to see him. Paul Check, Aubrey Marcus, Kyle Kingsbury. The list goes on, and I'm leaving off a ton of people, but just really a stellar lineup of speakers that are going to be at PaleoFX. And you can't see all of. You would pay this price to see one of them.
Oh yeah,
you get to see all of them, and also get to see all the cool new wares from the paleo movement and all the vendors and the expo floor. And it's just an awesome event.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Any of the sponsors you want to do shout out for?
Yes. So we also have Kegenics. It's real ketones. And then Sunlight and Sauna. We have Noble Wolf Vodka. We have Dry Farm Wines. We have ID Life Wellness. We have ArcsFit. I'm trying to think of all of our sponsors. We have Vasper. We have Pulse Centers. Some amazing sponsors, and we're really stoked to get a chance to show everybody everything they have. A lot of new products are going to launch at PaleoFX. That's another thing that we tend to have a lot of product launches at PaleoFX. Epic Bar, which a lot of people may be familiar with, particularly people from Austin. Yeah. Epic Bar actually launched at PaleoFX in 2013.
Oh, wow. They're awesome. I eat them all the time.
Yeah. And they sold their company to General Mills 2.5 years ago. I think it's about 2.5, maybe 3 years, 2.5 years ago for $320 million.
Wow.
Maintained control over their product, their quality, all of that stuff. So these are products that are changing the world in a very different way. So we kind of laugh that people would say, oh, well, I'm changing the world because I've got a cookie. Well, it's changing the world because it's making people think differently about what they put in their mouth. So if it's a cookie that's actually healthy for you, has healthy ingredients, then that changes the world because it starts making people understand that they really need to be mindful of what they put in their mouth. Because like I said, it's either going to be poison or it's going to be medicine.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's so true. Epic. I didn't know that Epic Bar is sold. That's really cool.
Yeah.
They are local. Well, they were a local company. They're still based here?
Yes, they're still based here. They still actually maintain quality control and
Oh, wow.
the direction and the vision of the company.
Mm-hmm.
They just were bought out by
a big company called General Mills. Well, that's awesome. That's kind of happening around here. Amazon now owns Whole Foods. So that's awesome. All right, everyone. This is Heather Havenwood. Go check us out at heatherhavenwood.com, as well as we're on Roku, Spotify, iHeart, Google Play, and iTunes, and all kinds of places, YouTube, of course. All right, everyone. This is Heather Havenwood. Go check out PaleoFX, heatherhavenwood.com/PaleoFX. I will see you in Austin, April 27th, 28th, and 29th. See you soon.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.